Many of us start our day with a template imprinted in our minds on how our schedule will look like. As soon as we initiate the first thing on our mental checklist, we're already thinking about the second and the third. With countless of repetitions, we've become so efficient that we've set our lives going through the motion on autopilot. Through this process, we get stuck in an endless loop of doing things without feeling like we're going anywhere. What I'm referring to, of course, is this unfortunate situation we're in, where we're increasingly losing the ability to be present in the moment. With all the technological and social advances we've made, life has given us plenty of options and experiences to choose from. However, the great irony of it all is that we've conditioned ourselves to experience less and less of it in favor of anticipating what's coming next. Simply being present is becoming more elusive by the day. In most Western culture, busyness has become a status symbol. People who are busier and have less leisure time are considered more ambitious and competent. And with increased accessibility, we can continue to receive work emails long after leaving the office. And on our free time, the rise of social media platforms has contributed to promoting a busy lifestyle where people are dragged into a game of one-upping each other with what they did over the weekend. This is where mindfulness come in. Mindfulness is a rich Eastern tradition anchored in thousands of years of wisdom and teachings. And since its introduction in the West, many scientific literatures have proven the undeniable psychological and physiological changes in the brain through these practices. While it may seem esoteric at first, it's actually a very simple concept. Mindfulness is the art of intentionally focusing the mind on the present and being fully engaged with an object or experience without judgment. It's a state of effortless concentration in which people are so involved in an activity that nothing else seems to matter. It can sometimes happen in day-to-day life when our mind is sufficiently challenged to perform, like when preparing for an exam or engage in a strenuous activity. But this state isn't only reserved for when the stakes are high. It's something we can tap into even when we're not doing anything significant. And in this state, you're merely being more centered in the rich present time, focusing with curiosity. It's about silencing the noise of the chattering mind that's overanalyzing the past and the future, judging ourselves or others. In other words, doing nothing. But why is this even important? Well, allow me to share my story. My wife and I are avid travelers. Every now and then, you'd find us in distant places in the world, summiting mountains, hiking glaciers, and witnessing the infinite beauty of Mother Nature. Sounds amazing, right? But I must confess, for the first couple of years, our vacations were mainly predicated on social media validation. Basically, I traveled for Instagram. I didn't notice until one particular vacation when we were hiking in Patagonia. Despite being surrounded by otherworldly landscape, I spent most of the 15-hour hike thinking what kind of pictures and videos I can post, and fantasizing what kind of comments I would get. I only snapped out of that delusion after returning home and having to rely on memory to remember what it felt like being there. I realized that even if I wanted to, I completely lost the ability to simply enjoy the moment, wherever I was. That incident was the impetus for my pursuit of mindfulness. The most common mindfulness practice is mindfulness meditation. But before you start, it's important to develop awareness of yourself and what's possible to experience, accepting that we all have this capacity within us. Next, you've got to have realistic expectations. Mindfulness is not a panacea. It's just one piece of the larger puzzle towards growth. Good relationships, health, and prosperity all take a lot of consistent effort to maintain. And simply meditating every day will not guarantee you those results. Meditation is hard to get into at first. Luckily, there are a lot of apps and guided meditation videos on the internet that can help get you started. But regardless of which app you decide to use, the whole premise of mindfulness meditation is grounding your attention to your breaths. Doing this at first may seem effortless, but the challenge arises after a few breaths when your mind starts to wander and thinking about other thoughts. When this happens, it's extremely important not to judge yourself as if you've failed. Rather, take this opportunity to redirect your attention back to your breaths. The point isn't to have no thoughts or for your mind to never wander. The point is to be able to redirect your attention back to the present moment. And over time, this skill develops and spills over to other domains in life. There's a litany of benefits that mindfulness meditation brings. Using modern imaging technology, we've been able to monitor structural changes in the brain after participants engaged in weeks of mindfulness meditation. But setting neuroscience aside, I can honestly say that the biggest reward I've reaped from daily meditation has been the ability not just to tolerate, but enjoy the more mundane and seemingly ordinary things in life. On top of that, it enhanced the experiences of doing the things that I already found enjoyable by being more immersed in them. Our fast-paced world is obsessed with quick gains and instant gratification, with an excessive focus on future outcomes, all of which distort many of our experiences, because realistically, we all have to work for a living and plan responsibly for our future. The issue arises when productivity and thinking become overly prized and erase the possibility of just being in the moment. If I had a magic wand and could cast a spell on the world, my spell would be one that would simply slow things down. Less doing and more being. Well, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching and stay kind to yourself.